What's up guys, P.O.G here, back with another deck profile. Today we're going to be doing my Orcust deck profile for the 2025 format. And let's get started. First off, starting off, 3 Girsu. This one's the starter for the deck. On summon, it can Foolish Burial an Orcust monster. And then if it's the only monster you control, you can activate its other effect to summon a token to your side of the field and the opponent's side of the field for extra extension. So overall, really good card. Next off, we're playing Orcust Harporer. This is your main target that you want to dump off of the Girsu. You can banish it from the graveyard for cost in order to special summon an Orcust monster from the deck. And this will be a quick effect if you so happen to have Babel on the field. All Orcust monsters are quick effects if you have Orchestrated Babel on the field, which is insane. Next off, we're playing 2 Nightmare, 1 Symbol Skeleton, 1 World Wand, and then the honorary Orcust card, Gizmek Orochi, the Serpentine Sky Slasher. It is a Italian print, if you haven't noticed. What this card does is it can banish the top 8 cards of your deck face down in order to special summon itself. Pretty good for extension, and it has an effect to banish the top 3 card, or not top 3, but banish 3 cards from your extra deck face down in order to destroy a card on the field. Both effects, you can only use them in different turns. You can only use one of those effects once per turn. So it's still a good extender. It can help you out in a bind. It can help you push for game. Very good card. World Wand. You can banish this card from the graveyard to special summon a banished Orcust or World Legacy monster. It has another effect when sent to graveyard in order to summon a World Legacy monster from your hand, but that really never comes up. This is the only World Legacy monster we play. It's basically an Orcust card. Really hope we get a holo printing of this soon. Next off, Symbol Skeleton. It can banish itself from the graveyard to summon an Orcust monster from the graveyard. So basically kind of like Harporer, just instead of specialing from deck, it specials from the grave, and it does target. Keep in mind, it does target, so they can bestial your target, so that does come up. Unfortunately, we have no way out it. And next off, we have our 2 Orcust Nightmare. This card can target a card in the field, banish itself from the grave for cost, and then increase the targeted monster's attack by foolishing a monster to the graveyard. Basically, it foolishes, say, a level 3 monster to the graveyard, and then it'll boost the targeted monster's attack by 300. Essentially, it's a Foolish Burial for other Orcust names, and that's all we really care about. The attack bonus is cool because we can activate that in the damage step if we have Orchestrated Babel on the field. This card is the namesake of the deck. It makes all of your Orcust monsters quick effects, whether they're in the grave or on the field. It makes all of them quick effects. It is insane. This card is... I don't really think this card should have been printed. It is insane. Next off, Orchestrated Return. Basically pot of greed for the deck. Send an Orcust or World Legacy monster from your hand or field to the graveyard to draw 2. Literally just pot of greed and then more. Literally. Orcust Crescendo. It's an Omni Negate. Basically, if the opponent activates a monster spell or trap card while we control an Orcust Link monster, negate the activation, then banish that card. This card is better than traditional Omni Negates like Judgment because it banishes. However, with Malice floating around, not the best option for this. I usually like using this against the Azamina matchup, where I just use this on their one hollowed Azamina, because they're usually not playing a second copy, and then they just can't play the game. Well, they still have their White Forest stuff, but, I mean, hey. Next off, for a few consistency pieces, we're on 3 Allure Darkness and 1 Foolish Burial. These cards are pretty good. The Allure Darkness allows us to draw 2. Foolish Burial, it's basically another Orcust name, basically. But yeah, pretty good cards. If I could, I would probably replace the Allure Darknesses with Upstart Goblins, if I really had to, but I really can't think of any other choice. Next off, we're actually on an Azamina package. 3 Diabellstar, 3 Wanted, and then 1 Deception, and then 1 Hollowed Azamina. Hollowed Azamina is basically the namesake of the engine. Once we activate it, we can send an Azamina card from our decks to the graveyard. We can send Azamina cards from our field or hand to the graveyard, and then special summon an Azamina monster. Basically, the levels of the Azamina monster need to be 4, or we need to send a Simple Soils spell from our hand or field to the graveyard equal to the number of the Azamina monster's levels, 4 rounded down. Basically, reveal 1 Azamina fusion monster in your extra deck, and for every 4 levels it has rounded down, Send one Simple Spoils card from your hand and or field to the graveyard. If face down, reveal it. Then special summon the Azamina monster. So yeah, basically that. And then Deception of the Simple Spoils. It can tribute a monster on the field or in the hand to add a Azamina spell or trap from deck to hand. And then if a monster is sent to the opponent's graveyard while we control an Azamina monster, we can make them lose 1500 life points and we gain 1500 life points. So I think that's a pretty cool effect there, and it can reset itself if you send it to the graveyard via Hollowed Azamina and it was face up. Next off, Wanted of the Simple Spoils. Adds Diabell Star from deck or grave to hand, and then it can also banish itself from the graveyard to place a Simple Spoils spell or trap from the graveyard to the bottom of the deck to draw a card. I think that's pretty broken. Next off, Diabell Star can summon itself from sending a card from the hand or field to the graveyard. On summon, it can set a Simple Spoil spell or trap. And then if it's sent to graveyard on the opponent's turn, it can special summon itself back out to the field, and then set a Simple Spoils trap from the deck. Or, no, it can special summon itself just if it leaves the field on the opponent's turn, which you can then use the effect to set another trap. Next off, for the last mini package we're playing, we're on a small Phantom Knight package consisting of 1 Silent Boots and 2 Fog Blades. So Fog Blades are basically just imperms that have a Monster Reborn effect in the graveyard. They can banish themselves from the graveyard in order to special summon the Phantom Knight's monster from your deck. I'm saying from your graveyard, not your deck. And then on the field, we can activate them by targeting a monster the opponent controls and negating its effects. And then the Silent Boots. This card can special summon itself if we control the Phantom Knight's monster. And then while it's in the graveyard, we can banish it for cost in order to add a Phantom Knight spell or trap from deck to hand. So that's how we get access to both Fog Blades with this card. Next off, for our non-engine, we're on 3 copies of Ash Blossom, 3 copies of Ghost Ogre as our 6 hand traps. We are on 3 copies of Imperm as well, but we are also on... I consider Imperm a board breaker for this deck because I'm also on 3 copies of Forbidden Droplet and then the Called by the Grave. So Ash Blossom, really good card, does its job, stops them from adding from deck to hand, stops them from specialing from the deck. They can't E-Telly anything or anything like that. We have Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. I chose this specifically for the Blue Eyes matchup. Again, hitting a True Light with a Ghost Ogre, it does wonders for you. Imperm, really good card. You can use it going first or second, preferably going second, but if going first, you can just set it. If going second, you can imperm something they're doing. Forbidden Droplet is insane in this deck because, again, any Orcust names in our hand, we can just send them to grave with Droplet in order to negate their board, and then continue to play. Called by for playing through hand traps like Ash, Droll, stuff like that. Droll doesn't really affect this deck too bad, but it does hurt somewhat. Next off to the extra deck. So for the Orcust lineup, we're on double Dingirsu, triple Galatea, and then the 1 long Girsu. We're also on the 1 Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardiche. So Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardiche, it allows you to send a Phantom Knights monster from your deck to the graveyard in order to set a Phantom Knight spell or trap directly from your deck. Yeah. So basically, this is how you get access to your first Fog Blade. Then you go out and you by sending Silent Boots from deck to grave with this card, you can set the first Fog Blade. Then by banishing this guy, you can get the second Fog Blade from deck to hand, which is basically double Imperm on top of an already decent end board. So yeah, that's why we run that. And then the Long Girsu, we can shuffle back 2 Banished Machine monsters from our grave. We can shuffle back 2 Banished Machine monsters into our deck or extra deck respectively in order to non-target send a linked monster on the field of the graveyard. Typically, I like to summon them where we have the Rusty Bardiche in the extra monster zone on the right-hand side. Then we summon the Long Girsu here. That way we can counter the extra monster zone that the opponent has access to if they're on something like Malice, which I think is just a really good option. And then the 3 copies of Galatea, they can shuffle back a banished machine monster in order to set an Orcust spell or trap directly from your deck. This is how we get access to our Babel. This is insane. And then we have the 2 Dingirsu. It can only be summoned once per turn, but on summon it can either attach a banished machine monster to it as material, or you can non-target send a card your opponent controls to graveyard, which does bring up synergy with this being a dark machine monster, or dark link monster. So Rusty Bardiche also has another effect where if we summon a dark link monster to a zone it points to, we can target a card on the field and destroy it. So basically we summon Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2 to target one card they control and destroy it, and then Dingirsu can get rid of another card they control. I think that's how Rusty Bardiche just has a lot more interaction in this deck than in other decks. Of course, Pure Phantom Knight is awesome, but I like playing Orcust a lot with the Phantom Knight package. So next off for the Azamina cards, we have the 1 Mu Reglacio and the 1 Ilia Sylvia. Azamina Mu Reglacio. On summon, it can add in Sinful Spoils or Azamina spell or trap from deck to hand. And that's really good because it allows you to use your Hollow for a second time. After we do our search, we typically just link this off for additional fodder, because Hallowed can shuffle this back into the extra deck to add itself to hand, and then we can use Hallowed to summon our Azamina Ilia Sylvia, which is an Omni-Negate. So that's really good there. Next off for our generic links, we have the 1 Link Spider for if we get nibbed. We can also turn the Girsu token into this. That way we can go into a Galatea. The 1 IP and SP. SP for spot removal, and then IP for link fodder, or linking off on the opponent's turn into SP. We have Dark to reborn a card from their graveyard. If they have like a Bestial or something, we can take it and then go into our Nightmare Unicorn to remove something. And then act as Code Talker because why not? Anyways, that's the deck profile. Stay tuned later. I will be giving you guys a combo video shortly, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.